Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another video. Hope you guys are doing well today. In this video, we'll be looking at the new Druid Covenant Legendaries coming in 9.1. So, Druid's one of the only classes at the moment that has all four added, for obviously four different covenants. We aren't able to test the Night Fae one, annoyingly, but the other three are there for testing at the moment on the PTR. So this is the PTR. They are still subject to change, but let's get into it. So the first one we're talking about is Locust Swarm. Adaptive Swarm has a 30% chance to split into two swarms each time it jumps. Now it jumps 3 times, I believe, and this is really cool. If you're using it on cooldown, it's going to spread quite a lot, because obviously then you have two swarms which both have a chance to jump as well, and you could just start, like, if it jumps every time, you're going to have an extreme amount of adaptive swarms. So I think this is quite cool. I don't think it beats out any of the Guardian Druid legendaries, which is sad because I think Guardian would get maybe the most use out of this. Resto Druid, potentially this could be very, very interesting for Resto Druids. Boomies, we're just not going to look at this, I don't think. Ferals, maybe there is a whole Necrocat meme, but I'm pretty sure that's reliant on running the Draught. Or Drought, however you say that. But the other legendary, the single target one. So, yeah, I don't see this is going to give Necrolord much play outside of Resto Druids, who are already kind of running it anyway, or can run it anyway. So, but it's certainly interesting. So, maybe. Let's talk about the Venthyr one then. So, Sinful Hysteria. Each time Ravenous Frenzy is applied, its duration is increased by 0.2 seconds. So, you can really, especially, so again, Guardian Druids, this was something we've looked at before in, obviously, Ravenous Frenzy being Venthyr, being able to combine that with Incarnation, you can do some incredible AoE, but again, that's very reliant on Ursoc's Fury, which you can't have with Sinful Hysteria at the moment. And there's no plans, as far as we know, to add a second legendary yet. So, yeah, I think this is one of those things that would be really good if we could have a second legendary, but unfortunately we can't, and therefore it's not great. Unfortunately. But that's a Guardian. No other spec really plays Venthyr for Druids, so I just don't see that this is going to get much use, unfortunately. Now, Kindred Affinity. This one's quite interesting. So, you and your partner each gain Kindred Affinity when bonded. Increase a secondary stat based on your partner's covenant. While your bond is empowered, Kindred Affinity is doubled. So, if you are Kyrian, which you would be, you would give 5% mastery to whoever you're bonded with, permanently. And they would give you something based on their covenant. So, if they're Night Fae, you'd get crit chance, things like that. While you're then empowered, it doubles, which is really, really nice. And we could potentially see things like Resto Druids, Guardian Druids actually now playing this. Specifically in raids, I would say, for Guardian Druids, because obviously Mythic Plus, they still need Ursoc's Fury. But I potentially could see this actually being used. And depending on how bad our Legendary is for Boomies now, the balance of all things, potentially maybe there's a room there. I know Kyrian's probably our second best covenant anyway for Boomies. Maybe this is going to give some viability to that if paired well with another class. I don't know, but certainly quite an interesting one. The fact that you can give someone 10% mastery or 10% versatility, 10% haste, all of these stats are like pretty incredible. So yeah, maybe. I mean, it's certainly an interesting one. It's well thought out, I think. Celestial Spirit. So ironically, this is the one that I wanted to test. And it's not available for testing yet on the PTR. But Convoke the Spirit's cooldown is reduced by 60 seconds, and there's a chance to use an exceptional spell. Now, I believe it's supposed to say it has a higher chance to use an exceptional spell, because it already has a chance to use an exceptional spell at the moment. But I believe it gives it a higher chance to use an exceptional spell. So that is Feral Frenzy for cats, that is Full Moon for Boomies, that is Pulverize, I believe, for Guardian Druids, and maybe Wild Growth for Flourish for Resto Druids. I'm not actually sure. Let's cast it and see what it casts. Yeah, I think it might be Wild Growth but I'm not 100% sure on that. But still, I mean, it gives you a higher chance, is what I believe is supposed to be the play. It reduces the duration and number of spells cast in that time. So effectively, it halves the cooldown, but halves the effectiveness of the spell. But it gives you a 1 minute cooldown convoke. Fine, it's half effectiveness, but I think things like PvP, just being able to pump out a 1 minute convoke, even if it is a half convoke, you're still going to kick out 1 or 2 Star Surges as a Boomy, or a little bit of a catch up as a Resto Druid. I think as a Resto Druid, this is incredibly exciting, actually. I think this is something that we're really going to get a lot of use out of. Just having something that it's going to be able to proc our Grove Invigoration, which is the Nia tree on Night Fae. So we're going to get lots of mastery for that time. We're going to get all these good stuff, and I think this is probably the only real contender. Locust Swarm interests me. I really like the idea behind it, and I will test it, but I don't think it's going to see much play outside of a Resto Druid. Celestial Spirits, I think Boomies could maybe make use of. Resto Druids can make use of. All these different classes can make some form of use out of. So it's definitely interesting. I think it's going to be a good one. Kindred Affinity is interesting, but I don't see when it's ever going to be used. Like I said, I think Guardian Druids, whilst in Raid, could use this quite effectively. I think Resto Druids potentially could use this in Mythic Plus. But yeah, it's an interesting one. Maybe. But yeah, so that's all the Druid ones. I'm going to go through and do all of the ones that have been added in another video. I just want to specifically talk about Druid ones because it's kind of my main anyway. And yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed the video. There'll be more to come in the next couple of days. So if you did like, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff. You know what to do. Thanks for watching and catch you later. Goodbye, guys.